Hello dear children, I welcome you all for Standard 8 General Science. We are going to learn about Chapter 8 Ecosystems. The objectives of learning this chapter are: you will be able to define ecosystem, learn about different ecosystems, identify the fundamental structure and function of an ecosystem. You will be able to evaluate biomes and describe different types of ecosystem and their characteristics. You can investigate and report on an ecosystem. You can connect your learning to real world ecosystem challenges, and also you will be learning about the diminishment of ecosystem due to human interference. Children, this is the first module, and in this module we will be learning about ecosystem, components of ecosystem, structure of ecosystem, and interactions among the factors of ecosystem. Can you tell, children? Look around you. Which factors do you find in your surrounding? You will be seeing living things and non-living things. So living things are otherwise called as biotic things, and non-living things are otherwise called as abiotic things. Are these factors directly or indirectly related to you? What do you think? Yes, we directly or indirectly depend upon them. Children, are you ready to classify the following into living and non-living factors? There are many components given here. Shall we classify them into living and non-living? First one is sunlight. Sunlight is a non-living thing. Second one is sunflower. Sunflower, we know it is a living thing. What about elephant, children? Yes, elephant is a living thing. Lotus, yes, correct again. Lotus is a living thing. Algae, children, you have learned about blue-green algae, cyanobacteria in the first chapter. Yes, algae is a living thing. What about stone? It has no life. It is a non-living thing. Grass is again a living thing. And water, we know it is a non-living thing. What about ant? Yes, tiny little creature. Ant is a living thing. And soil is a very important non-living thing. Cat is a living thing. Children, fern, what is meant by fern? Fern is a small plant, a grass like, children. Fern is also a living thing. Air is a non-living thing without which we cannot live. And lion, yes, it is a living thing. So now, children, even if I give 10 more components like this, I know that you can classify into living and non-living things. So shall we proceed to the chapter? The very topic of this chapter is ecosystem. What is this ecosystem? The world around is made up of living and non-living factors that we are very much aware. Living things are called as biotic factors, whereas non-living things are called as abiotic factors. If you see, closely observe, there is a continuous interaction between these factors. Both living and non-living factor continuously interact in an ecosystem. Children, the structure which is formed due to this reciprocal relationship is an ecosystem. Both biotic and abiotic factors and their interactions form an ecosystem. You can see both biotic and abiotic factors here. We know that they need each other for survival. Children, have a look at this flowchart. Ecosystem is broadly classified into abiotic factors and biotic factors that we have just learned. If you see abiotic factors, they are further classified into physical factors and chemical factors. What are these physical factors? Both air, water vapor, mineral, soil, sunlight, all comes under physical factor. And chemical factors can be further divided into inorganic substances and organic substances. Children, simply organic substances are those that are obtained from living things or that make up living things, we can say. So inorganic substances constitute of hydrogen, oxygen. Yes, these are very important gases, even nitrogen. Then minerals like calcium, iron, potassium, sodium, all these constitute inorganic substances. Organic substances, for example, protein, carbohydrate, lipids, if you closely observe, these organic substances have carbon and hydrogen in them. When you look at biotic factors, they are classified into autotrophic and heterotrophic. We know very well what is meant by autotrophic. Autotrophic are nothing but the producers, which are plants. Heterotrophic can be further classified into consumers as well as decomposers. Consumers are animals, we know. They can be further classified into primary, secondary and tertiary consumers. Decomposers are nothing but microorganisms that live upon a dead and decaying matter. So all these and their interaction constitute an ecosystem. Hopefully children, now you have a broad view of what is meant by an ecosystem. Do you know children, microorganisms are very much important? If you see the organic substances, that is carbohydrates, proteins and lipids from the dead bodies of plants and animals are converted into inorganic substances like hydrogen, oxygen, calcium, iron, sodium, potassium, etc. by microorganisms. So they feed upon this and they grow. Example of decomposer that you know very well, you can see here, it is mushroom, which is a fungi. Therefore, microbes are said to be decomposers. Let us have a look at the structure of an ecosystem. Children, if you look at the living organisms, they need different type of abiotic factors and they have different capacities to adapt with those abiotic factors. Do you understand what I mean? Imagine some living things that are living at a great height of a very large mountains. So at the top of mountain, if you see, there will be very little oxygen and the living things that are living there will be able to survive even with small amount of oxygen. Take for example camel which lives in the desert. Even though the availability of water, which is an abiotic factor, is less, we know that it can survive better with limited supply of water. That is what I mean adapting to different capacities of abiotic factors. Some microorganisms, if you see, they need oxygen for survival, while others do not need oxygen. We know some plants need more sunlight, and we know that we can grow plants well inside the home. They can grow well in the shade also. So depending upon the availability of abiotic factors, the living things adapt themselves. When you look closely, you will observe that each and every abiotic factor, that is air, water, sunlight, etc., it affects the biotic factors in the ecosystem. The abiotic factors in ecosystem decide which biotic factor will survive in it and what will be their number. If we see the proportion of abiotic factors in an ecosystem, it is always changing as the biotic factors use them or excrete them. Every biotic factor affects abiotic factor as well as other biotic factors around it. So it is vice versa also. That is, every biotic factor affects abiotic factors as well. So every living organism in an ecosystem plays a particular role while living and moving in that ecosystem. The position of any living organism in context to other living organisms and the role it is playing is called as neck. Example, a sunflower plant in the garden, it evolves oxygen in the air and provides food and shelter for insects like ants, honeybees, etc. So we are all directly or indirectly depend upon other living things and abiotic factors for survival. Shall we learn about the interactions among factors of an ecosystem, children? Observe this picture. Let us start from the plant. Plant is a biotic factor. It is a producer, we know. It needs soil and minerals, that is the abiotic factors, to grow. So these plants are consumed by other biotic factors directly by primary consumer and indirectly by secondary and tertiary consumers. So in this process you can see heat being evolved. So these biotic factors, that is these consumers, when they die, what happens? The minerals are released back to the soil due to the decomposition of the dead bodies. Also heat is evolved. Not only that, the microbes act upon them, and you can see the fungi that is growing upon the dead and decaying matter. The fungi grows on dead plant also. I am just explaining one cycle of it. Okay, the fungi grows. So what happened? The fungi releases abiotic factors such as nutrients, solar energy, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, water, minerals, etc., and liberates heat. So the free minerals are then recycled. The minerals obtained by the decomposition of these consumers are recycled again and sent to the soil. So you can guess the point where we have begun. Yes. So these abiotic factors are taken up by the plant again by means of photosynthesis for food production, and heat is liberated. And you know children, this cycle goes on and on. So this clearly explains you the clear interaction between abiotic and biotic factors. Children, can you tell what is the role of microbes in the above interaction? Yes, microbes degrade the dead organisms. How do producers obtain abiotic factors? They obtained through the process of respiration and food. From where do the consumers get their food? The consumers get their food from producers and other consumers. Let us discuss about ecosystem briefly. Most of the ecosystems, if you see, they are complex. As we have learned in the figure, the interactions are not that simple. They are complex, and there is tremendous quantitative and qualitative variety of species in them. We very well know the variety of species. Even if you take a species of butterfly, how many varieties of butterfly is available, that we know. So in ecosystem of tropical country like ours, few species of living organisms are found everywhere in a large number. Remaining species of plants and animals are found in small number, and some are very few in number. This we have seen. Variety of ecosystem is found on earth. As you can see in this picture, children, every square is an ecosystem. Each place has different ecosystem. Take for example a forest, a pond, a ocean, a river, etc. is a different ecosystem. The types of ecosystem are formed according to the size, the place, the climate that exists there, the types of plants and animals that live there. So many types of ecosystem can be found in the biosphere. Their specific functions continue according to the environment they are present in. Though these ecosystems look independent, you may think that what is the relationship between an ocean and a pond? They may look independent, but directly or indirectly, they are interrelated. They are linked. Therefore, we cannot separate a small ecosystem from each other, but we can classify them according to their functions. If you see some regions in Earth, a large area has same climate as well as same abiotic factors. So the living organisms in those areas are similar. So a specific ecosystem develops in a vast area, and such large ecosystems are called as biomes. These biomes, they contain many small ecosystems. Earth itself, if you see, it is a vast ecosystem. If you see biomes, there are two types of biomes found on Earth. One is land biome and the other is aquatic biome. Do you know children, about 150 years ago, Dudhwa forest, which is located in Uttar Pradesh, was the habitat for a single horned rhino. So, but in 20th century, this animal became extinct due to unrelenting hunting. The hunting was so much for the horn. So there was a misconception that The rhino horn can be used for medicine. Unnecessary killing of rhino made it extinct. So what happened? On 1st April 1984, this rhino was restored here through special program. They were bred in captivity and then released in their habitat. For this purpose, about 27 square kilometers of grassland and forest where round the year water sources are available were selected. There were 2 observatories that were established and the effort was highly successful and we got the single horned rhino back. We have learned a lot, children. Shall we summarize the points? The world around us is made up of living and non-living factors. Living things are called as biotic factors, while non-living things are called as abiotic factors. There is a continuous interaction between these living and non-living factors. The structure which is formed due to these reciprocal relationships is called an ecosystem. Biotic and abiotic factors and their interactions form an ecosystem. The organic substances are converted into inorganic substances with the help of microorganisms. Therefore, microorganisms are said to be decomposers. Each and every abiotic factor, that is air, water, soil, sunlight, temperature, humidity, affects the biotic factors in the ecosystem. Every living organism in an ecosystem plays a particular role while living and moving in that ecosystem. Most of the ecosystems are complex and there is tremendous quantitative and qualitative variety of species present in them. Types of ecosystem are formed according to the science, place, climate, types of plants and animals living in that ecosystem. They can be classified according to their functions. A specific ecosystem develops in a vast area and such large ecosystems are called as biomes. There are 2 types of biomes found on earth. One is land biome and the other is aquatic biome. I'll be back with more from this chapter about land, aquatic biome and other about human interference in the coming module, children. Till then, thank you and have a great day.